Hi, my love. You are on the verge of a breakthrough. I'm going to be so honest with you. You know when you're... Okay. I'm not going to start this over because it's so raw and real. You know when you're about to level up, you face the most level of resistance. I don't know if this is externally in your reality or internally, but I'm going to tell you what came through before we get into the main course. First of all, there's some type of internal alignment that you're going through and is preparing you for, I just keep hearing the words, the verge of a breakthrough. You're literally on the verge of a breakthrough. Signs of exhaustion, signs of maybe feeling a level of fear, or again, internal or external resistance is letting you know, I'm hearing it's an indicator that you're seated at the precipice. You're seated at the edge of your local cluster, of your local universe, and you're about to be shown this new realm of possibilities and experiences that are encoded into your field. And I'm seeing something around like an activation point take place. Let me just make sure everything is up straight. I'm even getting really hot. I know that there's a lot of channeled messages that are coming through. Let me just turn on the aircon because I don't really feel like editing this message a whole lot. There was just a lot that was coming through. So this is how you're going to know the message is for you. 369 has been coming forth today. 369 is all about your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions. And it usually comes up when it suggests that you're reaching some kind of completion point so that your energy can be redirected towards a more purposeful chapter. There is a huge, I'm seeing a situation that's unfolded within your life story that has served as a catalyst, and the energy that's coming through is that you are an energy converter. You can utilize something, and instead of it deterring you off of your path, you're using it as some type of accelerant. All right, this is about you being a natural born alchemist is the word that's coming through. You're taking a leaden experience and turning it into some kind of golden opportunity. Let me crank up the aircon right now because, hold on a minute, I'm really, really hot. Just opening up. So there's a specific Shaman's Dream Oracle message I want to share with you. And then also 777 was coming up for you too, which is all about some type of internal alignment. If this, I'm hearing, resonates with you on a cellular level, then you know that this is for you. And we're about to get started with the main quest. There's some type of side quest as well. Something that you've been carrying. It feels like some type of responsibility. And you're remaining compassionate, not just to yourself, but those around you, as I'm seeing as you set course into a new trajectory within your life. Yet simultaneously, you're giving yourself permission to release draining patterns of behavior that are not going to be conducive. And I'm hearing are not qualities or traits that your highest version of self expresses in the way that they navigate their life experiences. You're going through a refinement process so that you can ascend into a higher octave, and the frequency of your lessons, and I'm seeing the lessons that the soul is moving through are going to be mirrored within the next series of exchanges that will be unfolding. I keep hearing the saga before the main quest. The saga before the main quest. Let me go ahead and use that as a keyword before we continue. But when I tell you there's so many messages, but this is going to be the distinguishing factor, whether you know this is for you or not. What's the saga before the main quest definition? 777 says your progress is recognized and alignment is here. It's within your reach. The whispers are reminding you to stay the course and feel source working through you. Your gifts are being recognized. I blossom and bloom as I use my gifts. All things simply align as I feel the feeling of the divine. What are you building? Is my first question to you, because you're building something big, and I'm seeing it as the universe wanting to build and sustain something through you. It feels like a sustained level of effort, and I'm seeing also influence growing, some type of influence, and I'm seeing your capacity to influence also growing, because something has been shaping you quietly behind the scenes. It could be wisdom that has been shaping you. But I keep hearing a preservation. So anyway, the side quest before the main quest, it describes a smaller, unexpected experience that happens before the central chapter or purpose begins. Yeah, this is what I mean. I thought I was going to come on here and share with you just what are you building. And then before I got here, I don't want to even get emotional about it, but before I got here, I was like sitting with this energy for like 5-10 minutes. And I was like, oh no, I know what it is that you've been going through. I know what it is that you've been moving through. And I keep seeing it as silently or behind the scenes or within your internal realms. And this is preparation before a major breakthrough in your life. And again, it gets hardest right when you're on the verge of a breakthrough. You know, when the seed bursts through the atmosphere into this new horizon of experiences, it's a temporary chapter that teaches, prepares, or redirects you before your true path unfolds. For example, this could be a brief relationship, it could be a job, a trip, or a challenge that may feel important. But later you realize that it was a side quest that gave you the experience needed for the main quest. A saga, by contrast, is a long and often dramatic series of interconnected events, not usually something that comes before the main quest. So again, it's like you're being led into the main quest, but side quest messages, and I'm hearing this is the final finale, and it's so on par with the energy that I'm about to touch on today, because this is the North Node that's currently still in Pisces. And as we close out this nodal axis theme, which is, you know, a karmic axis theme, it's cause and effect in this system, and you being seated in the effect of all of your choices and, you know, within your life. This is Neptune energy. It's also Jupiter energy. So it's where you are guided by an intangible hand, and it leads to expansion that's happening. And I'm also seeing you expand beyond certain circumstances. Your consciousness is expanding into new degrees. I'm also seeing like metaphors beyond what was previously known to it. So there's something that you see that you can't unsee. And it reminds me of a message that I did about this axis. I'm going to go ahead and read my side quest notes for you as well. This is taking a whole nother reading, like a whole nother trajectory, but this is how your life definitely feels. It's like things are just coming in left, right, and center. But a side quest essentially allows a character to acquire something in its inventory. So that could be a lesson, it could be wisdom, it could be a person, it could be a literal physical object of some kind, or I'm hearing like a metaphorical object that you can bring with you, and it actually ends up allowing you to carry some kind of significant, valuable either experience or something with you, and it's part of the main quest. So that was the message. Maybe that's all that you need to hear. Let's go ahead and define that. I can't find it on my notes right now. Define a side quest before the main quest. Again, this is how you want to, it feels like such a specific message that, you know, if you're here until this point, this is how you know it's for you before we even get into like this main section. So a side quest before the main quest is a smaller experience, a detour, a relationship challenge, a chapter that happens before the central purpose of your journey becomes clear. It may seem separate at first, but it often gives you the skills, lessons, confidence, connections, or self-awareness needed for what comes next. In simple terms, it's a chapter that prepares you for the chapter that you were really meant to begin. Again, that's what I mean by 369. It's like something is stacking, something is building, and something is also wanting to be built through you and sustained through you. It's how the universe desires to express itself through you as a conduit, how it desires to express itself through your unique frequency. And it feels like a unique form of medicine through the frequency of a lesson or wisdom that you can derive or extract from an experience. And it's part of your legacy. It's part of your purpose. And your legacy isn't just in the things that you create, but it's also in whom it is you become and the way that you impact people as you're able to embody and be seated and anchored in this version of self. So I ask you, what are you building? And this isn't just externally yet, because yes, you're going to achieve beautiful things in the external world. We have the 10 of Pentacles. I'm going to go ahead and read this message for you before. This is just the starter energy, my love. This is just the starter energy. But it's I lost my track of thought. I'm gonna find it. I've got this specific card in my Shaman's Dream Oracle message, and yesterday I actually had to take a break. I took like a day off the channel that I don't know, the last time I think it was last November that I had one day off. Otherwise, I like post every day. And these messages started coming through. And when I tell you I was in a rabbit hole for like 4 or 5 hours, there's something big happening in your field. It could feel like there's a bump in the road of some kind, but I'm going to read to you the hollow bone because this is what I kept seeing in my vision. And it basically talks about being so humble that the wind of spirit desires to move through you. And what I was seeing is that one day we find ourselves not somewhere new, but in the very field that we've created for ourselves, and a field that future generations will incarnate into and be seated inside of this field of creation. So it's something that you're creating, it's something that you're doing. It's definitely part of the assignment. And this is your preparation before the nodal axes shift, because the north node is about to enter into Aquarius, the south node is about to enter into Leo. So this is something that goes beyond you. I'm just seeing it as part of your preparation. It's some type of reset that's occurring. So let me go ahead and actually read to you this thing. It's some type of unique frequency or lesson entering into the collective field in general, and you're becoming a clear conduit for something greater. I'm going to read this, and then I'll get into the main quest with the nodes, but this is going to extract whomever I guess just isn't in resonance with the message, and those of you that are, it just feels like something is decreasing in volume and it's increasing in concentration. And if you've been here, you've heard me say that quite a lot. So it's more about quality versus quantity, and maybe certain things taken out of your energy field at this time. That could be, you know, thoughts that are not going to be conducive, ways of thinking or relating to your experiences on earth. I'm hearing encoded into your field, always designed to be in benefit for the soul's evolution. But there's some type of major, I'm just seeing catalyst and expansion being keywords for you. So hollow bone, teachability, humility, being empty so that the wind of spirit can breathe through you. The hollow winged bone of an eagle is a flute for the shamans. The appearance of the hollow bone invites you to become so empty of your notions of who you are, to check your ego at the door, to know that this is not about you. Again, there is something greater that you're being prepared for as a vessel, as a conduit. It's like a miracle wants to flow through you type of energy, but it requires for you to just completely surrender. The position of an artist is a humble one, and there is some type of beautiful design that's about to be expressed through you, but it requires for you to just release whom I'm hearing what or whom. Okay, it's something outside of you. Relinquish your need to be right and express an opinion, as this will not change anything right now. You're being called to practice humility. Hollow yourself out and hear the wind blow through you and play you like a flute. You will learn the language of the squall and the storm and understand the message in the summer breeze. There is an important communication waiting for you. Humility is the swiftest path for you to become like the hollow bone. Drop all notions and titles that bolster your ego. Eliminate the doer and allow things to happen on their own accord. Remember that you can accomplish most anything if you're willing to let someone else take credit for it. Hollow bone has come to caution you to believe only 50% of what others think and 10% of what you think. Trust your experience, not what you've read in sacred texts or holy books. This will allow you to turn apparent danger into opportunity. Remember that you are an insignificant grain of sand in the grand scheme of life, but also as important as the brightest sun. There was a specific saying, turning apparent danger into opportunity. Oh, yeah. This is being so rooted in the divine plan that even disappointment is something that you can see as divine protection and redirection. That's what this is. It just feels like, I keep hearing corrupt or corruption. And if we think about the 10 of Pentacles, you know what it is? Anything that isn't supposed to be coming with you into this next chapter, even if it's like old ways of being or navigating the system or viewing your life experiences, something that you're evolving beyond. That's what this is. Now, 10 of Trees is all about legacy. It's also about inheritance, foundations, and what outlives you, and eventually what future generations will also receive because you were here on this planet Earth. And there is something I'm seeing monumental in your journey. If we think about monuments, they can often serve as landmarks or something that we look back at as a point of reference. I'm seeing something that leaves a mark in the historical timeline that many people come and visit or see. It kind of reminds me of a documentary, in every good documentary or story that we, invest ourselves in, whether that's emotionally, mentally, even financially, energetically, there is usually some type of pivotal turning point within a character's story. Okay, I'm hearing that gives it some type of it gives it some kind of basis, or it ends up becoming like the catalyst for them. So that's what I see happening for you in your journey. I'm going to go ahead and read the 10 of trees as well before we get into it, and I'm going to tell you all about the nodal axis shifts. This is going to be quite a in-depth message, and it's designed to meet you exactly where you are. Apparently it was more important for it to be delivered this way, because at first I thought it was just like what are you building, what are you like, all these things, and it's beautiful, but it's also this element of a beautiful struggle. Like the things that you're going on to achieve required for you to make some irreversible choices and decisions to honor the soul's journey in a way that can only be experienced, it can only be witnessed. It's not something that you can even explain. So 10 of Pentacles is fulfillment and dreams coming true. The full moon beams in the night sky, illuminating the tree that has overtaken the jeweled tower. So you can see it right there. Hold on. Complete fusion between rapidly growing tree and the tower has created a hybrid of beauty. I'm seeing this as your human nature merging with your divine nature. The jeweled tower supporting the colossal tree, and the tree offering shade from the harshness of the day. While we find ourselves back in the desert, we now have a foundation and determination to overcome adversity. Oh, this is another message that was coming through. There's something that you're going to be integrating into this from this experience, or you're becoming whole with, and that's what it is to become healed. To see whatever this is from the perspective of the soul, and recognize that this isn't personal, it's simply vibrational. And anything that is not vibrationally aligned with this specific timeline, again, you have this star card with the 10 of trees, is like you planting some type of star. I'm hearing a star was planted within you. So it's some type of something that's going to be growing, all right, something that's going to be growing, but it asks for you to lift the veil, which is to see beyond the human condition. Again, to see this from a deeper perspective. I'm hearing not just a subjective lens, but an objective lens. Look at the bigger picture. Through the suit of the tree, we witness mankind working to coexist with nature. The jewel tower is a card that speaks to the fulfillment of dreams. And when it shows up, it's a sign of a true joy that's sitting there ready for you to grab it. This can be a greater feeling than any material possessions could bring you. Okay, there's something around this is the part of the story that other people are going to look at when it comes to your story, and it will be deeply inspiring, or also help them move through times of turmoil, because the star comes after a tower moment, which is a moment of destabilization that ends up becoming your reason for the transformation that occurs. So this can be a time to rejoice and enjoy the simplicity of being fulfilled. So this is like it's deeper legacy on a soul level. That's really what it is. And with the North Node entering into the sign of Aquarius, it's not only about receiving a vision for the future that you could be, because the star card is also the future, but it's about becoming the vessel in which that vision can actually enter into the physical material world. And it's almost like you're being required to just surrender all of your notions, because what is Aquarius energy? Aquarius is the water bearer. It's literally this conduit. It's this vessel. And then from that space, you're able to build something strong enough that can continue serving, continue pouring into humanity long after your departure, long after you let's say depart from this physical vessel. And so the star is the being that pours the water. Again, it's very Aquarius, and the 10 of Pentacles actually creates that fjord that future generations will enter into, and feel those healing waters. That could be something that you create or something that you do that ends up healing you through that process. The Sabian symbol for 1 degree of Aquarius, which is going to be where the North Node enters into, and the North Node is all about your evolutionary path. So it's an 18-month journey that you're about to embark on, but this is the catalyst that propels you or launches you forward into this, I'm seeing, wave that you're going to be surfing over these next 18 months. And the Sabian symbol is an Adobe mission. which tells you a lot, right? Again, it's like, what are you building? Because when the North Node enters into the sign of Aquarius, it's very much like a 10 of Pentacles style assignment that you're being given. And the nodal shifts are the only things that regress forward, regress backwards. They regress inwards, like this fractal holographic system. So what I was seeing is something is syncing with the sync in your heart, and it's bringing you back into, I'm hearing a collapse inwards. It's not the universe pulling anything away from you or you away from anything. It's actually pulling you back inwards for some type of soul review period where you're going into these deeper wavelengths beneath this identity or beneath the need to be recognized for anything. And that South Node in Leo is essentially going to reveal anything to do with where we've over-identified ourselves with things or people or places. It's like, whom are we when we're stripped away from all distractions and we're just left to sit with the stillness of the observer within us that's greater than any circumstance that's unfolding before us. And so the North Node is all about where we want to redirect that life force, right? That sun energy, and where that can be shared with humanity, where it can be preserved and also carried forward. So it's not just about what you can become through this process, but instead it's what you're building within this system that's going to outlive you. And there's some type of catalyst or some type of muse within your journey where I'm hearing the true alchemist is the one that can turn perceived tragedy into a form of art or into a form of creation. That's what this feels like. So you're turning some kind of tragedy into something so beautiful that becomes a sacred part of your journey. It becomes maybe like a sacred part of your message. And that North Node is launching you into some type of unfamiliar path. You haven't quite done anything like this before. I'm hearing nothing has actually been created the way that it will be, let's say, streamlined through you and your unique frequency, because there's not anyone like you and there will never be another like you. Your DNA is as unique as a snowflake. It's your own unique signature, your own unique sound. And so this is the path that your consciousness is being asked to surrender into for its own development, for its own growth. Let me take you on the story of the water bearer Aquarius so that you can have a deeper understanding for what you're being prepared for. And I'm hearing how your soul is actually becoming more enriched by the experience, because Aquarius is simply the vessel. It's not the water, and it's not becoming consumed by, what's filling its experience, but instead it's the vessel that's capable of actually carrying and holding these experiences. It's the medium, it's the conduit, and Aquarius becomes the vessel through which that current of the divine is carried forth into the collective. It's where you become a channel for life force or this higher knowledge or consciousness to move through. The water bearer is often connected to the story of Ganymede, which is a human being that was brought into the realm of the gods and entrusted with carrying this divine cup. And symbolically, that shows where we're merging our human nature with our divine nature, and your human vessel becomes capable of holding something greater than just the individual self. Aquarius teaches us that your unique frequency is not meant to be placed at the center merely for recognition, but instead it's the specific vessel through which the universe desires to express itself. And so you don't disappear into the collective, but instead you become this clear conduit within it. It's where your individuality becomes the shape of the vessel, and the water moving through it belongs to something greater. And that's the shift of the South Node in Leo and the North Node in Aquarius. It's moving from this concentrating life force around individual identity into allowing the individual to become a vessel through which life force can be distributed into the collective. This is literally moving from the Leo energy, which is, hey, look at me, I'm the center of attention, into the Aquarius energy of recognize what's flowing through me also exists within you. It's from personal recognition transcending into this collective transmission or this divine transmission that is desiring to just flow through you freely and touch the collective networks or fields or the lives of those that I'm hearing impacted by your words, your creations, whatever it is that flows through you. And there's just something so sacred about that return to self. And I was really in meditation. I was in a really deep meditation yesterday, and I was basically being shown the holographic construct of this matrix. And I was being shown it as neural pathways that are formed through repetition. like the human beings that develop internal networks of perception through repeated thoughts and emotions and behaviors. And it basically is where neurons that fire together wire together. And the more that a pathway is traveled, the easier it becomes to travel that pathway again. I often think about this as a path through dense vegetation, where the first time it's walked, there's a level of resistance. But after enough repetition, this trail begins to form, and eventually it just becomes the obvious route. And it's not that it's necessarily the most aligned path, but instead it's because it's the most familiar path. And this is one way that was being shown the lunar nodes functioning. It's where the south node reveals the pathway that has already been traveled. It's a pattern that's been reinforced through the human's repetition and the familiar route that your consciousness already knows how to return to automatically. Whereas the north node reveals the pathway that has not yet fully formed and the direction that initially creates this level of resistance because it asks your consciousness to move beyond what is familiar. It's millions of these pathways form within the nervous system, and simultaneously, millions of these pathways form within the etheric system, and over time these networks become reinforced through repetition, our resonance to them, because we're constantly paying attention to it. And so eventually they begin translating themselves into physical experience because it's as above so below. So what often appears to arrive from the external world has already been cultivated within us long before it takes form in the physical. The external reality reveals the pathways that we've already been refeeding internally. This is why the nodal shift is not simply an astrological event occurring outside of you, but instead it corresponds with your own evolution. The south node exposes the agreements, behaviors, and pathways that have been continuously renewed through unconscious participation, whereas the north node opens up this alternative pathway, one that must be consciously traveled before it can become fully embodied. Everything begins as frequency, and then eventually it takes form, and what begins as resonance eventually becomes experience. And the strongest entanglements on earth are not just physical, but they're energetic. And so I was being shown this as subconscious agreements that have been continuously renewed through our attention and participation. But as the south node enters the sign of Leo and the north node enters the sign of Aquarius, you're literally being shown the pathways that you've repeatedly fed within your lifetimes or life experiences, and the pathways that you're also here to create, especially within this next 18-month cycle, because the nodes are shifting on the 26th of July 2026. So this is literally upcoming. This is because for the past 18 months, we've had the south node in the sign of Virgo and the north node in the sign of Pisces. And so that's asked you to really release perfectionism and instead release into surrender, the way that your soul has been guiding you through your life experiences. And that has kind of forced all of us to follow the things that we can't logically explain. You know, it's like we're following our life experiences based off of an understanding, and we've learned to cultivate that self-trust around the more subtle hidden architecture or layer of this dimension. And it's not that you can't look at the things that other people can look at, right? The things that we can actually explain, the things that our logical mind can actually process in a linear fashion, which is like Virgo. Instead, we're focusing on the things that we can see that not everyone can. And this is things that you can really, really deeply see when it comes to your own life experiences. And I'm seeing these are the hidden lessons encoded within your experience. It's seeing things through the lens of the soul. This is something that you've cultivated. It's something you've been able to come back to. This whole nodal axis has literally been encoded into your field at this specific time and space, and it has been designed to essentially lift the human condition so that you can see your life experience through the lens of the soul. And this is something that you're completing. It's like a cycle that you're graduating, and now that cycle is coming to a close and we're entering into a new shift. The question now becomes, what have you been feeding your life force, and what are you now building through it, right? What are you building through where your attention is being redirected? Or I'm hearing how your attention is being turned inwards to detangle or detach yourself from this matrix, neutralizing your relationship with it, and instead coming back to, I'm hearing, conscious participation that your soul desires to move through in the physical realm. All right, so let me read to you the Sabian symbol of 1 degree of Aquarius, which is an old Adobe mission. This is what's being activated in your field. So that's, again, where the North Node is calling you to the path of growth. As it enters Aquarius, the evolutionary direction moves towards collective progress, shared knowledge, community, and the creation of systems that can continue serving beyond the individual. But the image of an old Adobe mission adds an important nuance. This is not a symbol of destroying the past to create something entirely new. It's about identifying what is timeless enough to be carried into the future. Adobe is created from simple materials: earth, water, straw, and sunlight, nothing extravagant. Yet, when formed with care, it becomes strong enough to endure. This reminds us that the future is not built through spectacle or novelty alone. It's built upon foundations that are authentic, grounded, and capable of lasting. The mission was not important simply because of the building. It was important because of what it transmitted, the knowledge it preserved, the people that it gathered, the purpose it continued serving. And that is your Aquarian evolutionary assignment. What are you building that can continue helping others beyond your own personal involvement? What knowledge are you preserving? What structures can carry wisdom across generations? What foundations are you laying now that others may one day enter into? Because the future is not simply just invented, it's something that's cultivated. And lasting impact rarely comes with just flashy foundations. It comes from building something authentic enough that generations continue to benefit from it. Now let's read the South Node in Leo, which is what it is that we're releasing, what it is that we're also outgrowing and evolving beyond. And this is blood rushes to a man's head as his vital energies are mobilized under the spur of ambition. The South Node represents again what's familiar, what's inherited, and ready to be released or rebalanced. And the image of blood rushing to the head describes life force becoming intensely concentrated around personal desire, the drive to achieve, to be recognized, to prove oneself, to become important. There is a tremendous vitality within this symbol, but there is also the risk of becoming consumed by the pursuit itself. When all of the energy rushes upwards, perspective can be lost. This is like I'm hearing where you get a big head, right? And like an inflated head or ego. This is where, for example, leadership can become performance, or visibility can become a substitute for meaning, and recognition can be mistaken for significance. This does not mean that your ambition is wrong, but it does ask you to question what is driving it. Are you creating something genuine that wants to move through you? Or is it because you need the external world to confirm your importance? Are you leading from the heart or from the need to be admired? Again, if you guys have been here, I've said there's a big difference between doing things from love and doing things for love. There's a big difference between the power of love and the love of power. Two very, very different things. I'm hearing that's going to become evident, which is driving the human. What is driving the human? It also could be, again, are you leading from the heart or the need to be admired? Are you using your life force consciously or feeding systems built around attention, hierarchy, and personal glory? So is this from self-serving motives? The South Node does not ask you to abandon Leo, but it does ask you to purify it. At its highest, Leo represents courage and generosity, creativity, authentic leadership, and the willingness to shine. And those qualities are not being removed, but instead they're being redirected. The evolutionary task is to stop confusing being seen with being significant, and to stop measuring your impact through how much attention you receive, and to redirect your personal brilliance towards something larger or greater than yourself. Ultimately, this is all about conscious participation into systems that are greater than yourself and something that is desiring to move through you. And it's requiring a level of surrender. I'm hearing also a level of fluidity on your part. So let me go ahead and get a message for you, and then we'll close out because I want to get this out today. I'm going to take a look at a Cosmos Oracle message and take a look at what the theme is for you at the beginning. So you have flight. This is the opposite of standing still. There is something, and you could be reviewing this, revising this from the retrogrades, but I'm hearing once this energy station's direct, you're off like the wind. All right. So this is the opposite of standing still. This is something you're being called to actually act upon. This kind of reminds me of enjoy the stillness, because once this starts flowing from you, there's no stopping it. You even have stars. So you're aiming for the moon. Even if you miss, you'll still be amongst the stars. The stars actually shows that as you move forward with this continuous movement, I'm hearing announcing this to no one or anything. You take on this brilliance, this leadership. Again, it's like Flight and Star talks about someone being lucky, but no, there's something that you've been internally prepared for, where that preparation is now meeting an opportunity. And I'm hearing that is the window of, good luck. It's just you surrendering to this role, you surrendering to becoming a conduit. Like, people can say that Ganymede was lucky because he was chosen by the gods and he was able to sit among the gods and everyone in between, and he sees everyone as equals. But he didn't choose like this. It's like the path chose him in many ways, and that's what this feels like. It feels like this miracle is choosing to flow through you. If this makes sense, right? That's what this is, and it goes beyond you, and it's something that you're having to surrender to. So this is a celestial body which shines with its own light. The word star has been used to refer to someone who's lucky. It's a magical wild card that stands out against everything and everyone. The star brings light and acts as a guide for all those who accompany it. The star shines with unique pulse and surrounds the vast night with enveloping light, leadership and brilliance, spirituality and faith. So this is it's in your DNA. That's basically what it talks about. And then the flight. You're about to take off. Like, you've been initiated for this takeoff, and it's because of what you're going to do with it. It kind of reminds you of like money and fame doesn't change anyone. It only amplifies the traits that are already there. And Aquarius energy and the star energy is humanitarian. The star is not, the star is the sun. And so it's the center of the solar system. Yeah. It's also, it also co-creates with every other planet in the solar system. I'm hearing it brings light. Then you have eclipse. Eclipse is something that was previously obstructing you from seeing yourself clearly, and that's going to be dismantled. I'm seeing something is being dismantled, and you're going to know what this is. The eclipsing body, let's go ahead and define this as well. Give me a message for this. This is by the end of the transit. I'm hearing you're being seen clearly. Yeah, your full potential. Something that was hiding, again. Dark energy talks about what if you're being a certain version of yourself, thinking that that's your full potential. Dark nebula talks about treasures hidden in the shadows. And there is some type of, I'm hearing treasure chest that you hold within you that is going to be opened up and revealed. Wow. And then you also have find your treasure here at the base. So you could be initiated into finding that treasure and what that gift is. I'm also hearing the word spontaneous, so it could feel like this is spontaneously desiring to move through you. It just reminds you of someone being really well known for something or being recognized for something, but they didn't choose it. It's just like it chose them. Inside your heart of hearts, there is a treasure calling you to find it. That inner treasure will tell you what to do and how to find it, not with words, but with feelings and insights. Life will move you. Don't hide who you are under the ocean of emotions. You're a gift to the world. Find a way to express what you have inside. Yeah, ocean depths where many secrets lie hidden. There is something. And then you have the firepower energy. Wow. Okay. I'm going to close out with the gateway of the light activation message. We'll do a follow-up in some other message. I just know that I have to go to get this out to you. Yeah, halls of learning, and then you have Gaia gateway activation. So the Earth's intelligence, wisdom transmission. Again, you're being utilized as a conduit for this transmission to flow through. Some type of wisdom, some type of memory of the earth as well. Halls of learning, great lessons. So again, there's something that you've moved through. This is your guides telling you that there's some type of great lesson that you've moved through when it comes to your earthly experiences, but it's acting as a catalyst for you because you have a Orion activation being rebirthed by light, and it's some type of supernova. So this is some type of, I'm hearing cosmic impact. I'm also hearing invisible impact. So it's invisible until it becomes extremely, I'm hearing unavoidable. It feels like some type of unavoidable impact. And it's not happening despite it, it's happening in spite of it. That's just the energy that I get. It's not despite something, it's in spite of something. You utilize something as some type of catalyst. I'm just seeing, I always use this example, but it reminds me of Adele, like utilizing some kind of heartbreak in her life and creating this beautiful music that ended up becoming part of her own healing journey to just express this energy. And it ended up going on to touch, I'm hearing, become a monument for those around her. It ended up becoming a companion. There could be something about things that you do or things that you create where we move through cyclical themes in our life, where sometimes when we're going through some kind of hardship, there was a certain artist that we connected to or listened to. I'm hearing like even a motivational speaker or something that we utilized as part of our journey that served as I'm hearing a feeling of like comfort or a feeling of recognition or a feeling of feeling seen. And there's something like that it definitely reminds me of Chiron, which is the unique form of medicine that you offer to the world. And it's where your soul volunteered to experience some type of hardship in your life because of the frequency of the lesson you'd be able to derive and extract from the experience. It's like, again, you're being called to become a guide of some kind. And a healer can only hold space for others when they learn to hold space for themselves in a particular area of their life. So chironic wounds could be symbolic for you, even though you may be feeling like you're going through a vulnerable stage at this phase in your process. That empathy becomes a bridge into connection. That compassion becomes a bridge into connection. There's something that you need to hear there. So it's like you're being prepared for the initiation, and it's always designed to be part of your path. You're going to look back and see how the dots connected for you. So with that being said, I'm going to love and leave you so I can go and get this out to you ASAP. This feels like a personal read. And yeah, if you're not already subscribed to the channel, do consider subscribing. We'd love to have you around. Personal reading details are also down below. Also check out OTTER if you're looking for some high quality AAE grade gemstones. 1/4 of the proceeds are donated towards OTTER sanctuaries. And until next time, my love, bye.